All right. We've got Dorado and we got you on brig.
Doctor, are we still meeting for lunch after the seminar today?
Sebrin, that was years and
We
years
can
ago.
I'll just jump. I'll
But
just
we
jump
had a
ahead.
lovely talk.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3,
Just some brig gameplay so
1.
far.
Attackers incoming.
It is no longer brig gameplay.
Escort the payload.
Fair.
I will say right now, there's no reason to never stop holding mouse 1. So you should always be holding mouse 1.
All right.
That's just like a general rule of thumb with brig, and it's more so if like you round the corner and like you get jumped by someone, but because you're already attacking, you could just keep attacking instead of start attacking.
Okay.
Or maybe there's a Sombra who's sneaking around and you just accidentally hit them while you're just like looking around and like doing something. Or a Tracer sneaks up on you and you just accidentally kill them because you round the corner and they were already low HP and you're just already swinging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, because there's no penalty in just constantly attacking and holding mouse 1, there's no reason to never stop holding mouse 1. In fact, if there was a toggle option for it, they should include a toggle option for holding down M1 for you. Like while holding down M1 to attack, if you raise your shield, it will not activate the shield bash. Holding down mouse 1 will not interrupt your health packs. It will not interrupt your whip shot. It will not interrupt anything. There's no reason to not hold down mouse 1. Therefore, you should always hold down mouse 1. It's the same principle with Reinhardt. Because same thing happens with Reinhardt. You should just never stop holding mouse 1 with him. This is the only time I'm going to say it, and this is probably the last time I'm going to say it, because I have told you this before. But, yeah, just stop not holding down mouse 1 while playing brig. I do respect you trying to payload, Princess. But let's think about our positioning right now. What's a rule of thumb that I always tell you?
If the tank's not in line of sight, you're too far forward.
In general, yes. In general, yes. And right now, yes. Because, granted, they're running away to deal with a soldier up here for some reason. It's just a singular soldier. Actually, that soldier might have just completely fucked up D.Va. But, like, let's rewind 20 seconds. I have no clue how that soldier just completely fucked them up. But, like, let's just pretend for a moment that D.Va wasn't dying. Let's just pretend for a second that D.Va wasn't dying. And I don't know, let's say Rat decides to go for you or something. You're a very easy target already. Granted, you guys are currently, like, basically holding hands, and, like, it's a little ambiguous where the front line is and the back line is currently, because it's the start of the match and nothing's really decided. But being payload princess with 4 of your 5 enemies, like, within spitting distance of you is a very bad idea. You can be payload princess, but specifically when there's 30 meters of like, distance between you. You just slowly hug the cart and, like, keep it as cover, but beyond that, like, you should probably be standing next to Mercy right now. Mercy kind of has the right idea and, like, needs to, and kind of understands that like you kind of gotta be back here. It's a little too scary, a little too spooky.
Okay.
Granted, I do understand like why you don't have any fear. It's because of me. I've instilled the fear of God into you, and like I hang out with you, and so like all of these players, none of them scare you in all of chances. But
I mean,
if you go
my
against,
exact reasoning was if no one was going to touch it, I should,
no,
at the very least.
no. At the end of the day, the cart isn't actually what matters. At the end of the day, what's going on with the cart is that's just to keep the game progressing. In all honesty, the cart isn't actually what matters. The cart is just part of a game mode to keep the flow of the game continuously moving. It's not like, yes, you need to push the cart, but at the same time, what you really need to do is you need to win the team fight. You can't push the cart without winning the team fight. And currently you're engaged in the middle of the team fight, so pushing the cart isn't what matters.
Okay.
Granted, I respect it. It's just, if no one's going to push the cart, you should push the cart after everyone's dead.
Felt safe to do just because I knew the tink was right there, but yeah, I understand.
In the future, like, you could end up just being dead in half a second because of that choice. But right now, it's kind of whatever, but like, keep that in mind when you play against better players. They're going to be better at killing you. Good whip shot. Just trying to get some inspire. Good whip shot, maintaining inspire. That's good. Alright. Okay. A really big mistake you just made. I'm pretty sure you had a whip shot off cooldown. You did. The moment Rat Boy popped out of the ground is the moment you should have whip shot him.
I haven't been able to hit those recently. It's
okay.
I need to practice it.
That's just going to the aim trainer and just practicing it. That's totally fair. But at the end of the day, Rat Boy is a dive character. Brig is an anti-dive support. Therefore, if the anti-dive support is not dealing with the dive character, they're currently not doing their job. Just got to keep that in mind. However, okay. I will say, like, you guys are currently in a 3v... Your guys are engaged in a 5v3, and, like, it kind of doesn't matter. But, like, for real opponents, like, this Rat Boy is also out of position, and, like, it probably doesn't matter at the end of the day. I will say your positioning is actually kind of scuffed at the moment. And I would assume, like, you probably took my statement a little too literally. Your inspire is like a 5-meter radius around you.
Okay.
Your positioning that you would want is like right here. Behind, like, you would have natural cover behind this car. All of your teammates would be getting like a passive 20 HP a second. And you would be in perfect position to deal with the rat that's about to kill your Mercy. Who is probably about to kill your Mercy. Wrong target priority. That is incorrect target priority. That is the least of your worries. you should be killing him first, and you should be killing him first.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. You like, I get it, but low key, the turret that like was right there, if you just kind of ignore it, it's kind of whatever. Why? Because by the time it actually starts damaging anyone, it damages anyone, granted, you actually did do it, you did manage to kill it very quickly, but by the time it would have started damaging anyone, it would have been damaging a Bastion who's getting healing beamed. And the Bastion themselves would have dealt with it themselves. They actually probably have better damage to deal with it, so it would have been better for them to deal with it. Again, granted, like, not too big of an issue, it's just that's not your job. I respect you trying to do someone else's job, it's just at the end of the day, that's not your job. Especially because there's rarely going to be instances where you're in range of a turret to break it yourself. But still, it's good that you're showing some athleticism and trying to, like, do some work yourself.
Enemy turret destroyed. Coming through. I'm taking damage.
I will say, there's nothing you could have done to save that soldier. There is nothing you could have actually done to save that soldier, and that's not your fault. That soldier, he ran in, took a butt ton of damage, and there was 3 people body blocking your healing. There's nothing you could have done for the soldier. He was just out of position, and you shouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
There's some deaths that, like, there's nothing you could do about it because that's just the player's problem. The guy literally ran in and died in half a second. That's his problem. That's not yours. And again, you had 1, 2, 3 people body blocking you. You can't fix stupid. Remember that.
Okay.
Watch out, I'm on fire.
Okay, but you could have saved Bastion.
Yeah.
You could have saved that Bastion. So your health packs are very important and they're very scarce. I will say you might be a little too greedy at the moment because you might not be sure when to throw them at people.
Shields up.
So if someone is actively engaged in a fight, this is when you would throw them a health pack.
It was just the
Now this
dive
is
out
when
of
they
the way that
really...
threw me off.
Nope, let me continue. This is when you really need to throw them a health pack.
Okay.
Now, if you throw them a health pack, they're already dead. It doesn't matter. They can't live anymore. Now they really can't live anymore. They're dead. They're dead at this point. Like they're factually dead. And it wouldn't matter if you throw them a health pack at this point. However, if you threw them a health pack back here,
Coming through.
if you'd thrown them a health pack at this point, they would have still survived because they just barely died. Your health packs give, I think it's, if I'm correct, I believe it's 55 HP a second.
Okay.
The thing about it is, you need to throw your health pack to people who are in 1v1 fights who are actively dying. And you just need to be very sparing with them because the healing from them does stack. And so if, say, your tank is exploding and they need a lot of healing, you can throw all 3 of them on your tank at once. But if your Bastion is if your Bastion's just dying and falling over sadly because they're taking a lot of burst damage, you need to throw them a health pack. That's a little bit of reaction time, and that's a little bit of like, hey.
Yep.
And to be fair, that's what this is for. You're a bronze support player learning to be a support player. You might be good at killing, but you're not good at keeping them alive. And sadly, we just need to we'll slowly work on that.
Okay.
And I will say I respect the
Get back.
Mercy kind of has the right
They're
idea.
looking out for me.
Mercy has the right idea currently because she's prioritizing keeping you alive. Why is that? I want you to tell me, why is Mercy prioritizing to keep you alive?
Another support probably better for sustain than she is, just because I can throw things out faster.
Yes, but no. Yes, but no. She's a certified support player, and she's clearly been doing this for a while. She's getting the reses, and she's kind of picking up the slack for you.
Okay.
So, I want you to try again and like answer the question again. Why is she prioritizing healing you over the tank right now? It's okay if you can't answer the question.
Answer the question.
You can't answer the question? That's fine. It's because support players need to prioritize keeping each other alive over keeping anyone else alive. If a
Okay.
support player dies, the rest of the team dies. Especially in a fight. That's why Mercy is prioritizing healing you over anyone else. To be fair, like, you are actively engaging in like killing things, and so she probably doesn't mind healing you. But at the end of the day, support players need to prioritize keeping each other alive before they can prioritize keeping other players alive. A dead support can't heal.
Okay.
It's okay that you couldn't answer the question. It's fine. I get it. That just comes with experience.
Let me help you with that.
I will say, you're actually putting your shield up too much.
Okay.
In a situation like this, where it's a lone diva, you actually should run up to her and try to beat her ass. Like, you have your Mercy there, you have your tank there, it's just a lone diva. You actually should go up there and you should whoop her ass. There's nothing wrong with that. You have your team with you. What's dumb is when you like walk away from your team to take a useless 1v1. This is a tank. The tank is like one of the most valuable things you can kill. If the tank dies, the team fight's already over, is the thing. So, like, you should drop your shield and go beat them up. Granted, the way you would probably want to path over there, actually
Not a
considering
direct line.
everything, like, you would probably want to like walk around them, like walk around going this path and just like staying out of the stream and like kind of just surprising them and just basically making it a rotation. You would basically want to rotate around to this area so that way you're still on the sidelines or something like that.
Okay.
No fear for that sort of thing because again, you do have your entire team with you.
I do want to say I did lose this one.
You did lose this game?
Yes.
Fair enough. I think I think you might be a little too passive and a little too scared because currently you're not used to playing support and your team is just dying because you're not comfortable playing support without me.
I think this was also the first game of the night.
Gotcha. It's fair. Also, I will also say you are having the shield up too much because your shield is more valuable than your health bar.
Okay.
Especially in a situation like this. Especially in a situation like this where you're just like kind of, again, in a situation like this, you're kind of like, just wasting your shield holding it up for nothing when Mercy's right there who can heal you. There's no point in holding your shield up. You're better off A, just maintaining cover so you never take damage in the first place, or B, letting your health bar take damage so that way Mercy can get ult charge.
Okay.
Because again, your shield is very valuable. If your shield breaks, you're basically dead. Same fundamental thing about Reinhardt, If his shield breaks, he's dead. A lot of people try to say, like, you're not Reinhardt, don't play like Reinhardt. I would disagree. Yes, you're Reinhardt, but you're mini Reinhardt, and your responsibility is to protect your other support, not your team. You want to play tank, but you want to play tank for your other support who you need to protect. If that makes sense.
All right.
It's more like a good way to think of it is you're a guard dog. You're not like the tank. You're the mini tank whose job is to protect anyone who's getting dived by a lone person. You should be able to beat anyone's ass in a 1v1 if they're not the tank. Unironically, you should be able to beat anyone up in a fight, 1v1.
Okay.
Enemy turret ahead.
I will also say, a consequence of you trying to constantly push cart is now you're officially overextended. Granted, you and your tank probably need to swap positioning. I think your tank might just be scared. And now you're becoming the tank. And like, that might just be a consequence of you constantly trying to push the cart instead of prioritize protecting the backline. I think in this position, in this situation, where you would want to be standing is kind of like by this green cart, little moped thing.
Okay.
That would give you natural cover behind this fountain. That would give you a decent line of sight for your tank. And that would give you decent line of sight of your Mercy and your soldier. Yep, okay. I will say, yeah, you just got way too aggressive for I don't get me wrong, I get it. You're going for the Kiriko. And Kirikos traditionally are one of the hardest things to kill. I respect the desire to want to show some athleticism, but that's not the right time to do it. Now, officially, you cannot be standing next to that tank because, one, let's look at the tank's perspective. They don't even have a tank to look at. They don't have a tank to distract them because your tank is currently out of position. You're too aggressive at the moment. You're too passive earlier, but now you're too aggressive. It's not worth going for a lone Kiriko if it means you can die as a support. Supports are the most valuable player. But if you die to kill a support, then it's kind of just even and it doesn't matter. It'd be one thing if like you were whip-shotting her and like pressuring her with like some poke damage. And that would make her run away. And now she's not even in a position to heal D.Va. but you kind of just sacrificed yourself to kill her. Not a worthy trade. However, while Mercy can get the res, the question is, does she get the res? And I'm going to bet no, she doesn't. You know what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
That's another again target priority. Let's see exactly why she died. Oh wait, no, she was dead. She actually sacrificed herself to res you. Never mind, you couldn't have saved her. She fair enough. She sacrificed her res you. You were still animation locked. You literally couldn't save her. You couldn't do anything about it. That's not your L to hold. But you definitely should have like looked around instead of whatever you're doing right now, because you don't look around, your tunnel vision on this tank, and because they're 1 HP in a dream, your tank could handle that, but not while they're dead. And if you looked around when you immediately were alive, what you could do is you could shield bash behind your tank and start healing them to get away from the mole. That's just micro decision making. And that's not necessarily micro brig decision making. That's just micro decision making on, hey, what do I need to do now that I'm back alive? What do I need to do as a support? And right now, what you need to do is you need to dump all 3 of your health packs into your tank who's about to die. Who does die. And again, you are actually, you are sadly still too greedy with your health packs. I think I've seen you thrown like 2 so far. The entire game. I think I've seen you thrown 2, and that's just not good enough.
Enemy turret destroyed.
And one of the worst health packs I see you throw. One of the worst health packs I see you throw thus far is someone who's outside of a fight. Fair enough.
Soldier with a soup can.
Yep. Fair enough. To be fair, he was critical, and like if you don't throw that, someone could rock up and just like kill him at any moment, since Mercy isn't there to do the passive healing. Which, to be fair, you do need to be more giving with them when like it's just you handling the healing. But sadly, like the reality is, I mean, Mercy's right there. She can heal them when she gets up. You don't need to spend your health packs right now, especially because we're outside of a team fight.
Okay.
Granted, if you're in a team fight and it's just you, you need to like basically throw 1 to each player and just cycle it on cooldown. Because at the end of the day, like, you don't have a lot of healing, and so all you can do is just like cycle between your 3 teammates and just pray. Again, too aggressive. You're currently just too aggressive, and like that's fine. Whatever. And this is like the thing about being too aggressive. Okay, that was a good health pack. That was a good health pack. So, why'd you rally?
Panic mostly.
Okay, fair enough. The thing about rally and the thing about support supers in general is they're not so much to win a team fight, they're more to save a team fight.
Yeah, I figured the passive healing would help a little.
It does actually increase the passive healing by a lot, to be fair. But you guys are kind of winning this fight. No one is low on health. Mole's kind of gonna die. Like, the only person out of position is you, because you're so dedicated to pushing the cart. And currently you're the one overextended because you're just so committed to pushing the cart. You're probably scared because you don't even realize that, like, your teammates are kind of chilling. Yeah. I understand the panic, but, like, at the end of the day, like, your team is fine. They're in a good position. I don't understand why you rallied, because you didn't need to rally.
All right.
I will say,
On fire.
that was a good boop. Being really aggressive, to be fair, I will say you're very aggressive during your ultimate, and that's a good thing. You are allowed to be aggressive during your ultimate because now you actually are a tank. You get an extra 100 HP armor, and your shield bash becomes a hard stun, and as you can see, you have 700 HP for your shield. Like, you can be aggressive. You get a lot of healing, you can be aggressive, and that's the point. But, or not but, I do like that once your ultimate ended, you did fall back. I do like that, and I do appreciate that. Because once your ultimate ends, this is a problem I actually have, where, like, I'm now overextended and out of position because I didn't fall back fast enough. Like, I have that issue. So the fact that you naturally fell back once your thing was over, thumbs up to that. I do like the boop that you did on D.Va just now. Booping a damage mitigating D.Va is actually really smart, because whatever she's damage mitigating, probably very important that she's damage mitigating it. And if you boop her away, you, like, deal a little bit of damage, and, like, now she's not really damage mitigating the thing anymore, and you're chilling. However, I will say, double thinking it, probably a bad idea that you booped her. Because look at your floor, look at your feet.
Yep. I didn't see the mole approach.
You don't see the mole approach, and that's just a game sense thing. That's just a game sense thing. I think just playing more hours on tank will, like, give you better game sense, because you need to keep track of, like, the enemy's position constantly. Just literally just playing tank can help you with that. You're gonna suck at it, but, like, it will help you with game sense.
Okay.
But yeah, the thing is, like, hey, if you had your boop, you could have, like, if you had managed to land the boop, he would probably go back over that wall, and now he's doing nothing and has to get back into the team fight.
I'm on fire. Come on, fight. I got you.
Actually, hey, look at that. Let's see exactly why you shouldn't be aggressive with Brig. Let's see what happens when you're aggressive with Brig. Let's watch the enemy Brig and let's see what they're doing. They look a little lost. They try to be aggressive and they try to go in, and then they fall over and die. And they're just kind of getting bullied. And that's exactly why you don't frontline with brig. You just fall over and die because you're not a tank. You're a support.
Sorry, I'm remembering what happened here, and I'm getting flashbacks.
You're getting flashbacks of a brig falling over and dying.
No, I'm remembering this specific doorway.
What happened? Actually, I guess I'll find
You're
out.
going to see.
Heroes never die.
Trying to figure out the better way to get a fucking LOS on that guy.
Better way is the first way you decide to go.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Excavation.
So, okay, let's rewind a little bit. That right there, that's just a decision-making issue. The fact that you, it took a really long time because you double back twice. Maybe even 3 times. I'm not really sure. If you had just stuck with the decision, and to be fair, the correct decision would be to go down here and just, try to rotate around and just, go up to here and, you peek him a little bit. That would be, the fastest way to get to him. And then you would fall back and, you throw him a pack and, there. That's good enough. To be fair, Bastion's currently out of position, and if he dies, that's his fault. However, if you want to do it, you need to make a decision, and you need to stick with that decision. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. The fact that, you kept going back and forth, jiggling by this wall, is, just... It could have caused them to die because you just had uncertainty. Even just deciding, okay, I'm just gonna go in here. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna go there. Well, yes, it's a very aggressive decision. At the end of the day, it's also a really safe one too. Because you naturally just have cover of the indoor environment. And there's a mega right there if, you get low on HP. If you're, 100 HP and you're getting chased by the rat, you could grab that mega, and then now you're full HP. The rat's probably half, and now you can whoop his ass. If that makes sense.
It does.
So, both options are fine. What's not fine is that you didn't make a decision. That's the problem. And, that's the biggest issue when it comes to low-level players. The biggest issue isn't what they're doing, it's the fact that they try to make a decision, but they never actually make that decision. And right now, you're struggling to make that decision. You need to make a decision, and you need to stick with it. Even if it's a bad one, the fact that you stick with it could lead to something good happening.
Okay.
What's worse is being indecisive than making a bad decision, okay?
Yep.
Let's continue.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Excavation.
Personally, I think you made the wrong decision on where to rotate. I think you should have gone for that mega. The thing is, you might be a little isolated, but you'd be able to go up the stairs and you would have high ground. Maybe the diva chases you. Maybe the diva chases you. But the thing is, what does it mean when a diva chases a support who's out of position or in a weird position?
There's no longer a tank on the point.
There's no longer a tank on the point, and there's no longer a tank defending the front line. And maybe you'll die when a diva chases you, but What happens when your team kills the rest of the enemy team? Does your death really matter when now there's just a diva?
Not particularly. Especially considering our tank still has a support.
Exactly. And plus, like, it's just Mole. Like, if that diva chases you, like, there's only Mole contesting. And sure, he's ulting, but it's not very good so far. So, in my opinion, I think, genuinely, you should have gone inside. You should have grabbed that Mega, and you should have either rotated over here and to been, like, a safe point, like, in here, where, again, there's another Mega right there. Or you could have been high ground and you could have been even better position and in an even safer position. That's my opinion, at least.
All right.
What I probably would have actually done live game is, because by the time you're like over here, I would rotate over here, go inside through here, and like be here, because this location here is a much better and more active location in general. But like you were already over here, and like the decision is, hey, should you actually rotate outside where it's super slow, or should you rotate inside where it's much safer? You know? Let's see how things go. Hell, you never notice the Torb, do you?
He's very short.
Fair enough.
Like, it's mostly a joke. But he is very short.
Fair. That's just an aim thing.
I was thinking to rotate and caught the torp there, and I panicked a little.
That's fair. Little bit of whatchamacallit.
Nerf this.
Your movement isn't very good in the middle of a fight. Like, what I mean is an actual 1v1 fight. Like, look at this. You don't really try to strafe or anything. The thing is, you should be constantly strafing while playing Brig. You don't need to aim, so therefore you just need to keep your crosshair, like, in their vicinity. If you're just constantly rotating, then you're harder to track. Especially in, like just in their face, where you need to be. If you're constantly just spinning around them, then they basically have to constantly spin to keep a track of you, making you very difficult to kill. And, like, the thing is, the more you have to move your mouse in order to track something, the harder it is to track that thing. And even at like a top 500 level, like, it's still almost impossible to track someone in your face running literal circles around you. Not because at that point, like at their level, it's not because it's hard. It's because they literally don't have the mouse space to do it. To like, if you're like constantly moving circles around them, they would literally have to spin their mouse and just keep lifting it up and trying to like move it. But you don't do that, and you're just kind of an easy thing to track. So my point is, like, the closer you are to someone, and if you don't need to aim to kill them, you need to move even more. And like, the closer you are, the easier your movement can be, because you're already very hard to track. Like, let's look at the Torb himself and like see what he sees. Notice how like you take up half his screen.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw in a crouch, quite literally, if you throw in a crouch when he aims at your head, he would have to track from up here all the way to down there. That's a very large distance to like track.
Okay.
That is a very large distance because you're so close to him. And like top 500 level, like that's still kind of hard to do. Again, it's a mouse space thing. It's a matter of
Yep.
whether or not they even have the mouse space at that level. Down at this level, they literally just can't do it. They just can't do it. I respect you chasing him. I also respect you letting him go, because what's more important is keeping your team alive, and just the fact that you made him run away is good enough. I will say you need to kill that mole sooner. You did let him get into a position that was a little too easy for him to kill you. The reason being that they overall they were just in too good of a position for too long. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I will say now here's the consequences of not chasing the Torb to death. You did let them get away. Now they're able to go high ground. And this is one of the consequences. This is one of the consequences of like letting someone get away. On one hand, yes, you pressure them to leave the team fight, but now you need to make sure that like when they come back, they're not in a position to like do something good. And now they're in a position to do something good. They have high ground, they have a turret up here. They could sit up there and just like plink away. Granted, it looks like your tank is shooting. Nope, your tank's not shooting at them. Did you get the stun on the Moira?
I did.
You did? Yeah, that's good. That's actually good. Your shield bash is a hard stun, and so it'll cancel things like Moira ults. There's some ults that it won't cancel, but Moira ult is one that it does.
What is that melody?
Good boop. You made it so that she died. But also, you can't save people standing in the Torb. Yes, kill the baby deer. That is a target worth being aggressive for, but not worth not that aggressive for.
Sorry.
Okay. So, like, it's good to keep it on cooldown. I get it. Because it's very important to maintain inspiration. However, you are keeping it on cooldown and like not using it on the targets that do need it to be used on. The mole is one of those targets that it constantly needs to be used on because you constantly need to push him away from your team.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand what dive is?
Yep.
Then explain it to me.
Take a fight with no expectation of killing or of getting out alive, and basically just
Wrong.
go in and try and take out a high priority target. Nope. Okay.
Wrong. That's a suicide mission. Dive is multiple people jumping into a specific person at the exact same time to kill them at the exact same time. That's what dive is.
Okay.
And it's multiple people jumping in at the same time to dive an opponent, to kill them, and then getting out as fast as they got in. Some of them might not make it out alive, or one of them might not make it out alive. But if that person who doesn't make it out alive is, say, a DPS, but the person they're diving is a support with low mobility, chances are you're going to win that team fight. Trading a support for a DPS is a good exchange of currency. And Mole is one of the people who's able to safely get into a team fight because he literally has invulnerability the way he does it. And he might not make it out alive, but he'll certainly get in alive. You can't save that. However, no, I'm not gonna however you on that one. I will say this is when you need to be more passive. Your tank is currently dead, and doing this is very risky because you have 3 people looking at you right now. You had 4 people looking at you, and then it became 5 when the tank also looked at you. You were too aggressive when your tank is dead.
The doorway was messy.
Ready to go again.
And currently you're the front
I'll
line.
admit that.
You're being the front line despite like trying to push the cart when like you don't need to push the cart.
Heroes never die.
You need to protect your back line. Okay. This is a situation where you needed to dump your packs onto your tank. This is when you would use all 3 of your packs on your tank. They're very low and they're very vulnerable, and they could die at any moment. There's technically 3 DPSs right here. And they're all, well, 2 of them are shooting at him. But it could very easily become all 3 of them shooting at him. So that is when you would go in there and you would mag dump your packs onto your tank. You only throw him once. Granted, you did kill the thing killing him, the main thing, but like, you still have packs and he still needs healing, and he's getting it. He's staying out of the fight to get it, but he was in a very vulnerable position. He was in a very vulnerable position. Good attempt on the boost though. Bad pack, sadly. Like, that's just the guy. Good luck. Okay, that was a good rally. That was a good rally, actually. That was a really good rally. Granted, it became a bad rally when you walked away from your team and, like, no one really followed you. Yeah, they're kind of following. But yeah, that was a very good rally considering Mercy had just died and now you needed like to use your ultimate to like pick up the heals. You're a little too aggressive with your rally. You probably need to be standing like back where Bastion is so like, you know, you can be a better shield. But that's definitely a good rally.
Okay.
That was a good rally because you rallied the instant Mercy died, and I assume you rallied because she died.
I rallied because 2 people were in line of sight that needed healing, and I didn't think I could heal them up fully with the packs.
Fair enough. Did you even know Mercy died?
I think in the back of my head I knew, but it was not a forethought.
And she's not the reason you died. Okay. That I will take back my compliment. That was not a good rally then.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I have to take back the compliment because that's not why you rallied, therefore it's no longer a good rally. You used it offensively, I thought you were using it defensively, never mind. This was a bad rally because now you're in the front line, out of position, and you're about to die. Luckily, you don't die somehow, but like, yeah, you were very far up and very aggressive, and now you're dying. It happens. However, that there is a situation where you needed to mag dump your guy. yes, don't get me wrong, kill the person like trying to kill your tank, but at the same time, there's a reason I tell you to play brig so you can like learn the fundamentals because she's the easiest healer. You should have like been staring at your tank, mashing E. You should have pressed E, whip shotted, like beat the mole's ass, press E again once it's off cooldown, beat the mole's ass, press E again, beat the mole's ass. You know?
Okay.
That's the hardest thing about support. You need to heal and deal damage at the same time. It's easier with Brig because she's the simplest support to play, but like, it's still, she also has really low healing, so you have to make a lot of complex decisions. She has low overall burst healing and burst healing potential.
I'm on fire. Come on, try me.
You at least eventually get the mole, but like your tank isn't there. And so now you're just basically dead. And you jumped into the lava.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens, man.
No sweat. Just try again.
It happens. And like you can't fix that much. That's just playing the game more and just like thinking about it more. But like, you know, you can't save that. You can't save that. And like yeah. And now your tank is kind of just feeding because he doesn't even realize. Okay. That's when you probably should have shield bashed. Okay, Mercy gets the res. Fair enough. It's not too bad, but like, Mercy gets the res, so fair enough. Good boop. Boop him off high ground so he can't like sit behind his turret. You're too aggressive.
Attack
Once
bot.
again. Alright. I don't need to see the rest.
We're almost out of time.
They all press their buttons and you guys can't touch point. That's exactly how it goes. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, yeah. I mean, at the tail end, I do feel like it kind of fell off because we almost recovered it, but yeah.
You probably felt defeated before this and just were like not aggressive enough. Yeah. Fair enough. You guys are actually kind of saving it? Okay. Never mind. Mercy, does she get the res? She gets the res. So this is a time when you kind of need to be both more aggressive, but also not too aggressive. Because you need your ultimate, you need to pop it now. Okay, you popped it now. So then why do you guys lose? That's why. It comes. Oh, I see exactly why.
I was the only person touching point.
Yep, it happens. Everyone got off point because, well, there was the magma. And everyone fell off point, and it was overtime. It happens. It's called a C9. Actually, that's not even a C9. You guys all got pressured off the cart. That's just you guys falling off the cart because you got pressured off it. It happens. They won the game, and they made their Torb made a decent play. It happens. But yeah, I hope that was like helpful.
It was.